meditate, maybe also today, then after a while you say conscious of being conscious, conscious of being alive, things like this. Well, it's nice to hear this helps. And I was thinking, let's say this be present is exactly the same, right? Or don't think is also exactly the same.
I mean, you can give the order don't think, but you may not be able to simply stop thinking. But in spite of the being aware of the flow of thoughts, you still can be aware of that sense of presence. It's not a compulsion that the thoughts have to stop completely. So it's, but being present, yes, I agree, it's the same. But not necessarily don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who am I? Is it also the same?
Who am I is just one way to catch the attention and bring it in the right direction. Bring it to that sense of presence.
Like conscious, of being conscious.
Of being conscious. Consciously being conscious. Instead of half asleep conscious. The attention all over the place. The who am I is not a question that ever is resolved.
Yes.
It's not that you ask and ask and ask and finally you get it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's just one way of catching the attention, which is usually caught up in all our mental obsessions about what is happening, what could happen, what people think, what has happened, what is happening the other side of the world, what is the big world story that's going on. We are so focused on that, completely missing the awareness of that which makes the experience possible. And who am I is just one way of detaching our attention from those mental obsessions and bringing it back to that sense of presence. It's not that eventually you get the answer, I am that. You are that. It's not the only one, it's one way of detaching the attention from the mental obsession, to bring it to that sense of presence, that which makes the experience possible. And then sometimes I say, okay, consciously conscious, instead of half asleep conscious, consciously alive, meaning the same. Then how this is expressing itself? Like I said, Ramana, he was just sitting there and just because of his awareness, that intensity of the expression, of the manifestation, of the creativity, although he didn't do a damn thing, but that pure creativity simply became stronger and stronger. Then Amma is the exact opposite. It goes on. It never stops. Active. And doing all these things and building hospitals and schools, and people love her for that, for all her philanthropic works, but it's not that which counts, but that being conscious in this world and intensifying that manifestation of that consciousness which is important, which matters.
So when Ramana says knowing yourself is being yourself, because there are not two selves.
There are not two selves. You cannot really know yourself like we use the word. If you know something, if you know a watch, then you are there and the watch is there and you know the watch. If you know your emotions, then you are there and there are emotions, you become aware, they are objects, they come, they go. That's not what you are. Then you ask, what am I? And then as long as you come up with answers, I'm like this, I'm like that, then you can know, but I'm prior to that. You cannot really know what you are in that sense, but you can be what you are. You are what you are. And you can not be aware of it, or then you can become conscious of it.
I'm prior to it, and I'm also the unique expression simultaneously,
yes.
Right?
Right.
And there are not two selves.
There are not two selves.
So if I am that pure consciousness,
right,
then the unique expression will naturally also manifest without blockage or masks.
You can call it, if you want to use the traditional names, the Jivatma and the Paramatma. They are essentially the same, the self and the cosmic self, the total self. Essentially the same, but in that all oneness self there are myriads and myriads of different ways, unique ways of expressing that one reality. So it's not that you have to somehow worry about, but if I'm with that unique self, then I'm missing out on the big self. Come back to yourself. And you are essentially one with all. Essentially the same. So no need of, okay, first I have to figure out the unique self, and then after that the big one up there.
Like we're going there anyways after the body drops, right? So
we are here already. It's not that we have to go anywhere for that. It's not somewhere. It's never absent. But it can happen that if the body drops, then you become again aware much more of many aspects that we have somehow forgotten in that human story. Sometimes people tell me, now I know who I am. And I have to tell them, no, you don't know who you are. But you have experienced a broader aspect of yourself. But that's also already an expression of yourself. As long as we think, now I know, then we have the tendency to stop there. But why stop? You can become aware of a new aspect. Like Ramana, he had that experience very unique, out of the blue, without any preparation. So suddenly he became aware of another aspect of himself that he has not been aware before. And he never lost it. That's very unique. People usually struggle, and then once in a while get a glimpse. And then maybe it comes and stays a little, and then goes again. And then we struggle again, and eventually maybe your attention goes so deep that we don't lose it anymore. Ramana, simply in one stroke, he was aware of that aspect of himself that he was not aware before. But he never said. Sometimes his followers conclude that was the end of his story. No, that was the beginning. Then he came, and then he let his experience unfold, and he doesn't really talk about that. After that, we know the first period, and there he indicates it was a process that has been put on the way when he was still there in Madurai. And then he came here, and after that we just know then for that much time he was sitting in a temple, then he went down in the Patalalinkam, and then he went out in Kurumuhurtam, then he went up in Virupaksha and so on. But what has really been transpiring in all this time, in these 25 years where he sat like nobody can sit, then he doesn't talk about it. He gives sometimes indications. People asked him, Some people thought when he was old and he was sitting on the bed and chit-chatting with people and then comparing when he was sitting there in Virupaksha cave, unconscious of this world, that somehow he was there in a higher state and has come down. Or people asked him, but Bhagavan, what is the difference? That you stayed there and you stayed now. And he said, no, there is no difference in the state. There I was sitting with crossed legs and eyes closed, not aware of this world. And now I'm sitting with my legs stretched out and I talk to people. But then, on occasion, he may have added little pointers that for Ramana it was not that at a certain time that was it and that was the end of it. And he said, but of course the power of a jnani is continuously increasing, making clear that also for a being like Ramana there is a process that continues. Essentially the same, essentially one with the all over self, and yet a unique expression. And that experience from the perspective of that unique expression is unfolding and unfolding. When I say a unique expression, I mean not the person you think now to be. That person is a momentary appearance. It comes as a reflection of your unique expression of that one reality. But the person is only a momentary reflection and changes all the time. But that unique being, all one, not different from the all-over self, still has a unique way of unfolding and unfolding that experience. And will also express it differently, like Ramana expresses it in one way, Yamaji is expressing it in a very different way. Sri Ramakrishna dancing and singing and dancing, doing puja to the Kali. It's all one, and in that oneness there is also the multiplicity. No word is doing justice to that mystery of existence. The teaching is just to help to catch the attention and put in the right direction. Help us to see where we are creating blocks and let go of them, but nothing can define reality. We cannot even define the first expression, pure consciousness, pure love, pure energy. You cannot define. Let alone that which is prior to it.